evening and okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Advisory Board meeting of January 11th. I'm sorry, the wrong. Wait a minute, my wrong thing here. Hold it. Of February 8th, 2024. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Member Ike.
Hand on your heart. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all. Okay, good evening. Member Ike, please call the roll.
Chairman Stanko.
Present.
Member DiLeonardo is absent. Member Chabina.
Present.
Member Warner.
Present.
Member Castellane.
Present.
Member Ike, I am present. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Format for the meeting this evening is a presentation from the applicants, questions and comments from the board, and then any interested parties may address the board regarding the application. And we ask that anyone who speaks to please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. We have two items on the agenda this evening. First item is 600 Grumman Road West, Bethpage, New York, 11714. The applicant is seeking site plan approval from the Department of Planning and Development for the construction of an approximately 243,554 square foot, one-story warehouse building with associated site improvements. The proposed use for the subject property is a permitted use pursuant to Chapter 246, Table 5.2 of the Code of the Town of Oyster Bay. First, do we have any correspondence on this application?
Yes, Chairman. The following correspondence will be on the record. First one is a memo from the Zoning Division dated October 7th, 2022, stating the subject property located at 600 Grumman Road West, Bethpage, New York, 11714, has a Nassau County Land and Tax Map designation of Section 46, Block 323, Lots 273, 283, 284, and 285, and is located within the LI Light Industry Zoning District. Second, memo from the Department of Environmental Resources dated December 27th, 2023, classifying this project as a negative declaration for the purposes of CEQA. Third, memo from the Code Enforcement Bureau dated October 18th, 2022, stating that there are no open code cases on the subject property. Chairman, since this memo is several months old, the Planning Division contacted Code Enforcement Bureau this past week, and there are still currently no open code violations for this subject property. Number 4, memo from the town's Department of Public Works, the Highway Division dated October 17th, 2022, and their Engineering Division dated April 25th, 2023, stating they have reviewed the site plans and have no objections. A memo from the Nassau County Department of Public Works dated January 4th, 2024, stating that pursuant to General Municipal Law 239F, the plans have been conditionally approved as noted. Resolution number 10558-24, adopted on February 1st, 2024, from the Nassau County Planning Commission, recommending local determination for this project. A memo from the Planning Division dated December 28th, 2023, stating the required parking for the subject property is 550 parking spaces, where 575 parking spaces have been provided. A memo from the Planning Division dated December 28th, 2023, stating the division has conducted a review in accordance with Chapter 246, Section 6, Site Plan Review of the Code of the Town of Oyster Bay, and is referring the site plan to the Planning Advisory Board for the appropriate action. Finally, the affidavits of signposting and affidavit of mailings from the applicant are on file. Chairman?
Okay, thank you.
All the
Thank you very much.
correspondence.
Okay,
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Judy Simoncic. I'm an attorney with the firm of Forcelli, Deegan, Tirana, with offices at 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard in Unionville, appearing on behalf of the applicant, 600 Grumman Road West LLC, which is an affiliate of Prologis, which is a publicly traded company with headquarters in San Francisco, California. With me this evening is Andrew Nee, our engineer. His office prepared the plans that are before the board this evening. Also with me is Aaron MacTay, our traffic engineer. with VHB, Kelly Wang, the architect with BL Companies, who prepared the elevations and floor plans, Kim Seaman from Shin Environmental Engineer with Langen Engineering, Gail Pesner, she's our environmental planner with VHB Engineering, and Will Kim, who is a representative development manager at Prologis. They will not all be addressing the board. They're here tonight. Most of them are just here to answer any questions if we need them at the appropriate time. We're here tonight seeking site plan approval to redevelop property known as 600 Grumman Road West in Bethpage. We're looking to build a state-of-the-art, fully zoning compliant warehouse with associated site improvements. As you indicated, I won't go through the section block and lot, and the zoning warehouse is permitted as of right within the LI zoning district. And again, the proposed development before you this evening fully complies with all the town dimensional requirements for the LI zoning district, as well as all site design requirements in the Town of Oyster Bay Code. You'll see before you, there's a slide. This is the first slide of a few that we're going to be presenting this evening. It shows an aerial, and in the center, the subject premises is highlighted in, outlined in red. The area in orange is the zoning that is designated as LI. So we are squarely in the middle of a sea of properties that are zoned LI. The property is located on the southeast corner of the intersection of South Oyster Bay Road and Grumman Road West. And it has 1,310 feet of frontage on South Oyster Bay Road, which, as the board knows, is a 4-lane, well-traveled road. We also have 1,088 feet of frontage on Grumman Road West, which is the entrance to the Bethpage Business Park. So if you look at the aerial photo, you'll see the surrounding area. In terms of surrounding area and its character, this area is predominantly developed with commercial and industrial uses. To the north, you have across Grumman Road West are commercial and industrial facilities, including the Honda City Service Department. Further north is the main line of the Long Island Railroad. To the south are other former Grumman properties that are used for industrial and commercial uses, such as the Grumman Studios. Then if you head east, there are other commercial industrial properties located within the business Bethpage Park. Those are Old Dominion Freight, U.S. Postal Service, Northwell, Dow Tile, and FedEx Freight. So you have a lot of industrial facilities, and many of those do operate 24/7. And finally, to the west, across South Oyster Bay Road, there are, again, other commercial and industrial facilities, including a 400,000 square foot warehouse that's occupied by Mattress Firm, a self-storage facility, auto repair facility, and then you have a McDonald's fast food restaurant. So clearly what we see and what we're demonstrating is that the warehouse use for this property fits squarely within the surrounding commercial industrial uses in the area. I'm going to turn to the next aerial. This is an aerial photo that shows the distances to the nearest residential zones. The closest residential properties are to the west, across South Oyster Bay Road, past New York State 107, Route 107, and on the west side of Bloomingdale Road. They are almost 1,000 feet from the corner of the subject premises. The other residential properties that you can see are to the east of the subject property. They are behind the Old Dominion Freight and the other industrial properties, and on the other side of the Long Island Railroad. Those properties are over 1,000 feet away from the subject property at 1,101.7 feet. What we're proposing is a spec warehouse building that will likely operate 24/7. We don't have a tenant right now, but we anticipate that we're going to have to operate 24/7. So what this aerial photo demonstrates is that we are not in any close proximity to any residences, and clearly this proposed warehouse is not going to have any adverse impact on any surrounding properties, and particularly any residential properties. A little history about this property. The site was owned and operated by Grumman Aerospace up until the applicant purchased it in June of 2022. The former 3-story office building that was on the property, which was known as Plant 25, was used for offices. And then there was a building that was also used for industrial purposes. It included a sensor test and integration laboratory. Both of those buildings had been vacant for at least 10 years prior to the applicant purchasing the property. Both buildings were demolished early last year pursuant to a demolition permit issued by the Town of Oyster Bay. Also of note and interest, there was a Navy F-14 fighter jet on the property, and that was relocated by Grumman to the Cradle of Aviation in Uniondale. Just a little bit about Prologis before I go into and turn over the mic to Andrew Nee. I'm sure this board has heard about Prologis before, but if you have not, Prologis is one of the world's largest industrial development companies in the world. They operate in over 19 countries. They own and operate and develop high-quality real estate properties and lease to high-quality companies such as Fortune 500 companies. They are committed to the betterment of the environment. They implement renewable energy. They seek LEED certification on their projects, and they are seeking to achieve a carbon-free footprint by 2025. In early 2022, Prologis saw this site as an opportunity to develop a Class A warehouse in accordance with its LI zoning district designation. Prologis went to contract in April of 2022, and it conducted due diligence and determined that it could build what, at that time, a 310,000 square foot warehouse building. Following the end of the due diligence period, and having committed to the purchase of the property, the town, as the board may remember, had changed the zoning requirements for parking for warehouse uses. So the code went from 1 per 1,000 to 1 per 500. So rather than seek variances, Prologis sought to comply with the parking requirements, and as a result, the building was reduced to 240,000 square feet, 240,240 square feet, which is what we're proposing this evening. Turning to the site plan, I'll go to the next aerial. That is a proposed site plan for the project. We're seeking to build a 240,249 state-of-the-art spec warehouse, and in terms of floor area breakdown, we're proposing 3,296 square feet of office space with the balance of 236,953 square feet of warehouse space. Again, this proposal fully complies with the LI zoning district requirements and the site design standards. And at this point, I'd like to hand over the mic to our engineer, Andrew Nee, to walk the board through the site plan and talk about the various features.
Good evening, Chair, members of the Planning Advisory Board. My name is Andrew Nee from VHB Engineering with offices at 100 Motor Parkway in Hauppauge, New York. VHB was retained by the applicant to provide civil engineer and professional environmental services related to the application for the construction of the state-of-the-art warehouse that Judy had described. Obviously, this is a spec warehouse, so there's no specific tenant that we're here to speak to tonight. The property is located in the light industrial zoning district, as we mentioned, and we worked closely with the applicant to develop the site in conformance with the applicable standards, as Judy just summarized. We prepared this color rendering of the site plan to demonstrate the site layout as well as the landscaping that's proposed. We are constructing a 240,249 square foot warehouse on a total of 15.98 acres. The application will be seeking LEED Silver certification for the proposed building with sustainable practices incorporated into the design, including but not limited to solar readiness, electrical vehicle charging readiness, solar reflective roof membrane, and the use of native and adaptive landscaping to mitigate dependency on permanent irrigation. The building's loading bays will also include electrical receptacles so that trucks pulled up to the loading bays would not need to idle necessarily. We have letters of water and sewer availability from Hicksville Water District as well as Nassau County Department of Public Works, and on-site parking will be provided, including a total of 381 standard spaces, 30 trailer spaces, 12 handicap accessible spaces, and an additional 152 land bank spaces, with a total of 575 spaces provided. There's 550 spaces required based on the new zoning ordinance for parking requirements for a warehouse, as Member Ike mentioned. And we anticipate that the demand for this building would be substantially less than what's provided. We have plenty of parking on this site, and that's why we chose to land bank 152 of those spaces on the southern limits of the parking further away from the building. Site access is available from a total of 4 driveways. 3 of these are located on Grumman Road West. The northern 2 would service warehouse employees and passenger vehicles. The southernmost driveway on Grumman Road West would service tractor trailers or commercial vehicles, as well as the new driveway on South Oyster Bay Road that is also being improved with a left turn lane that has been reviewed and approved by Nassau County DPW. I think it's worth noting that the most appropriate way for trucks to get to this site or depart this site would be State Route 107, which is a state arterial highway. That's the way we project it to be as far as the majority share, not using local residence roads or anything to that effect. Emergency vehicles have access on all 4 sides of the building, and we've met with Bethpage Fire Department Fire District to obtain their review of the site plan prior to getting Nassau County Fire Marshal review. It's worth reiterating the application complies with all applicable dimensional requirements, including setbacks, height, building coverage, lighting, and landscape, and will not require any zoning relief. The site and roadway frontages will be enhanced with landscaping features, including a variety of trees, shrubs, and ground cover, with a range of species providing color across over 3 acres worth of landscape, in addition to the over 70 shade trees and evergreen screening for utilities and trailer parking. In addition to the colored site plan rendering, these are some renderings we have of the proposed building. This is from the corner of Grumman Road West and South Oyster Bay Road. From the driveway on South Oyster Bay Road, looking at the evergreen screening shielding the truck court and trailer parking to the right. Should have been 3, but 2, you get an idea. I'll leave that one up. To touch upon traffic briefly, VHP prepared a detailed transportation report, which has been submitted and reviewed by both the Town of Oyster Bay and Nassau County Department of Public Works, and concludes that no mitigation is required based on the truck and trips projected. As a result of the analysis, the report states that the proposed development will not cause any significant adverse impacts on local traffic. My colleague Aaron is here to assist with any detailed questions related to traffic, but I'm happy to answer any questions of the board at this time, or turn it back to Judy if appropriate.
I'm sorry, I just didn't hear what you said as far as the west truck exit onto South Oyster Bay Road?
Yes, that's a full access driveway.
Is that,
That's a full access
It's a
driveway.
full exit driveway?
Correct.
Right turns, left turns?
Left
No
turns in, left
restrictions?
turns out, yes.
Okay.
Nassau County DPW has issued conditional approval for full access at that driveway. Correct.
How do you anticipate most of the trucking is going to reach this site? North to south on South Oyster Bay Road, or would they take 107 and then come back around?
Yeah, so unfortunately, they're not able, well, fortunately enough, they're not able to use South Oyster Bay based on a restriction between Aerospace Boulevard and the Long Island Expressway. So that's why we anticipate majority of the trucks arriving to the site will use State Route 107.
Okay. And now, if they use 107, where your intersection with Grumman Road is, Hazel Street is right across the street. Do you
Correct.
anticipate the trucks turning and coming down Hazel Street and then making a right turn to go to the entrance, or going straight across?
They have the option to either make a right on Hazel or go straight and use the southernmost driveway on Grumman Road West to access the.
I don't know if you're familiar with that
It's
that
a tight
intersection, but it's a horrible intersection.
Yes, the condition of the intersection is rough.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would it be anticipated that the majority of the truck traffic coming off is going to go off of Grumman Road West, or do you anticipate it coming off South Oyster Bay Road?
Do we have the distribution between the 2 driveways? Turn it over to Aaron to answer that.
So, we
Just
distribute,
state your name and
Sorry.
address for the record.
Aaron McTay, I'm with VHB out of our Hopog office as a transportation project manager. The distribution was approximately equal. And then from one to another, it really just depends on exactly where they're going, if they're going north or if they're going south onto 107. That just changes the direction of travel that they're going out of any particular driveway.
I would imagine using the signal would probably be better off for the tractor trailers if they're.
Oh, certainly, absolutely, absolutely. But just to be clear, so the driveway that Mr. Nee just spoke about, on South Oyster Bay Road, obviously, that requires a new median break, and Nassau County, they have a very high standard in order to approve that. They had us prepare a gap study, a very detailed study to determine whether or not it would be able to handle all types of traffic, and, we successfully showed that there's no issue with that access operating.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
You have anything else to add, or no?
No, unless
Okay,
there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
all right.
Mr. Nee, can you just touch upon the landscaped parking aspect of how you have that laid out? So I know you said you had
Yes.
100 and something land banked parking, land banked.
Correct, yes. So there's 152 land bank parking spaces proposed in our 575 spaces provided. And we specifically chose those to be, for example, on the southern frontage of South Oyster Bay. So it adds additional landscape buffer between the trailer storage spaces, which you could see in the flag portion of the southern limits of the site. So any trailers staged there would be screened from the public right-of-way of South Oyster Bay. And if needed, which we do not anticipate, those spaces could be constructed for additional parking demand of a prospective tenant.
I mean, personally, I like seeing the land banked parking better.
100%
Get
agree with you.
landscaping in there. One quick question, so where you have those trailer storage spaces, they're strictly for the trailer themselves? It's not going to have the cabin or anything attached to it, the cab
Correct.
itself?
It's, again, we're designed for flexibility here. There's no tenant involved, but they're designed to fit a fully, 53-foot trailer, but there'd be no cab attached to it
So the person would have to physically bring the cab to it, connect the trailer to take it out?
to take it out, unless it was a smaller commercial vehicle that was being stored there, and we have a space for the commercial vehicle and a space for the driver in accordance with the parking requirements.
That kind of answered my next question. If you have the trailer where you're going to be storing cabs or anything that are separate and apart from the trailers on the site, might be too early to tell, I guess?
It's too early to tell, but again, we designed the site for flexibility to market this site as appropriate for the modern, high ceiling warehouse that's necessary in these days.
The renderings that you showed on the elevations, that's the color scheme that's going to be done
Correct.
for the elevations themselves?
Yes.
One last question.
Sure.
I feel like Columbo here.
Not a problem.
The monument sign that you showed in the one picture,
Yes.
that wasn't an LED display, was that?
No. Yeah, it's shown blank for tenancy perspective. like-
Okay, but it's not a changeable copy sign or anything like that?
Yeah, no LED flashing, the temperature or whatever. Yes,
Perfect.
exactly.
Perfect, thank you.
No worries.
Do you have any slides on lighting at all, or?
I
wanna
don't,
hit-
I could pull up the photometric plan, but it's a lot of really small
Well,
numbers
just,
and
could you
wouldn't
just
mean much
tell
to
us,
you.
just explain what you
I
planned for
mentioned,
it?
yes, I mentioned specifically that we developed the lighting, and having worked on sites like this before in the town of Oyster Bay, I understand there to be a limit. So we're talking 20-foot poles, we're not talking these monstrous 40-foot poles.
Okay.
So the poles are spaced a little bit more closer together, and they have the functionality. If this site doesn't operate on a 24/7 basis, the light levels can be shut off or dimmed, or, there's functionality in that. But if it's a 3-shift warehouse where you need safety for the employees going to their cars, the lights, you want to make sure
Right,
they stay
right.
on.
Do you have any lighting on the building itself?
Yeah, there's wall packs mounted also at 20 feet, and then lower lighting
Okay.
at doors and entries and way.
And the aspect for solar, the roof's already prepared for that, is that?
It's prepared for the weight of the solar, so if at such time the tenant demand or the demand existed to put the panels on the roof, they're ready to go. But
Would they be there immediately with the?
no, not at day one. Similarly with the EV readiness for the charging stations, the conduit goes in the ground so that you can pull the copper when you need to, but, that way you're not ripping up your brand-new parking lot or sidewalk, but it's there at the time.
Would there be any charging stations for new electric vehicles?
Not the charging stations themselves, but just the infrastructure to substantiate it at a future date and time, depending on tenant need or the way the industry goes. People are starting to shut down on making the new ones, like the Lightning, the F-150 Lightning, they're making less of them. So it's, we know that's the way it's headed, it's just at what pace.
Okay.
I know the plan was rather large, but do you have generators planned for this site, that backup generators?
There's ability to pull up a roll-up generator, but not a permanent generator. So in case there's the tenant demand or need, that they can connect to the electrical within the building, pull up a roll-up unit, but there's not a permanent generator staged on the site.
And with regard to your elevations, I'm assuming there's also rooftop and mechanical equipment you'll have up on?
There's
there?
rooftop units, a roof plan was submitted with the package, yes.
Okay. Is there screening for that you won't be able to see any of the equipment from the street
It's
level?
set back appropriately in accordance with the standards, and there is a parapet that would screen it, yes.
Somebody had mentioned truck idling. Was it you? I'm not sure.
I mentioned,
What was
yes,
the comment? Could you go over that?
Yeah, so there's, at the loading dock doors, the applicant being a modern, developer of industrial warehouse, and there's states like New Jersey where there is no idling, but we don't necessarily have that statute or laws, but they're developing this LEED Silver, they're seeking that accreditation, or their certification for the building. And I'll say one of the components as part of that is having power receptacles at the loading docks so the trailer or the truck would have the ability to connect to that and therefore reduce the need for idling and fossil fuel.
Oh, I
use.
see. Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes.
Would any of the trucks without the cabs need power, any of them, like refrigerated trucks? But I know you don't have a tenant yet, but are you geared for that? Would there be
Similar with those receptacles that they would be available. And not to mention, we're building a shell. So if the tenant needs they were 100% utilizing refrigerated units, they might need to enhance their electrical service or whatnot, but,
just trying to avoid the addition of having a generator run for each one of those units?
yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, but we do have fully, the building's powered and ready to go.
All the plantings that you have going in as part of your landscape plan, you're going to have an irrigation system installed as well? How are you going to keep the plants and vegetation?
So the plants were specifically selected to be part of that LEED certification. So we used native and local adaptive plantings. So in the establishment period, as we call it, it'll depend on temporary irrigation, but it's designed that once those plants take, that they don't need the permanent irrigation.
But ultimately, yeah, I know you're going to be planting a lot of seed and topsoil I saw on the plans.
During
How do you
this-
plan on sustaining the grass?
It'd be the contractor's responsibility to provide temporary irrigation during those times.
But again, temporary, but what about long-term? I mean, I don't think you want to plant all this grass and have brown grass over there either.
Not the ideal, but that's why we specifically specify a specific, seed that can substantiate itself through drought tolerant. If we have one of those summers, yes, you're absolutely right. There might,
But but the whole reason, listen, that we do the site plan is to give a lot of greenery back to the area. No one wants to look at a sea of asphalt, especially in industrial area.
agreed.
So the only thing I'd make a reference to is if your client would be willing to install an irrigation system.
Yeah, we could certainly discuss that with them.
I think that would be a recommendation, at least from my part.
Yeah, it's,
I don't want to see, all that money invested into landscaping and then it die off.
forgive me, I've just been informed. So as part of LEED, we cannot do a permanent. So we'd lose those points by installing it. That's, I think, the kicker there.
Are you able to compensate by trading off something else? If you
Please.
don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I thought it was a requirement. Oh, it's not.
yeah, so I consulted with the applicant and the architect related to the LEED certification, as well as my landscape architect for, about the speed, so, the grass itself. So during a heat wave and whatnot, there's ability to, supplement it with temporary irrigation. You don't necessarily need to put the underground sprinklers in, so there's ways to do it. It's just a permanent system would void the LEED points that would be associated with
Would your
that.
client be open to having irrigation during heat waves and/or?
On a temporary basis.
Yeah, not necessarily permanent, but if they know there's going to be a streak of 90-plus degree days for 10 days.
Have their landscape contractor make sure they're ready for it. We could make that.
And then the other aspect, obviously, is if you have any plantings or anything like that that die off, the applicant's willing to replace it.
Yeah, that's required by the
Well,
the
again,
approval.
just like
of
to
the-
hear it on the record, that's all.
Yeah,
Just to maintain.
not a problem.
We just want to maintain it, because again, we don't want to
100%.
spend this much money, or you guys spend that much money beautifying it, and
The planting plan before you will cost a significant investment, and they want to make sure it stays that way.
that makes two of us.
Yeah.
So will you put the irrigation in and use it as needed, or
It
Which
would be a
is-
temporary irrigation, a
Meaning-
supplemental irrigation.
What is a supplementary? What do you mean by that?
Sounds like a hose and a sprinkler.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because we put it in
I was gonna
permanently.
say.
I mean, I will mention as part of the fire protection for the building, there's hydrants running around the building, and we're working closely with the water district to make that happen. And that's another source of water that could be utilized,
Okay.
so they're not pulling hose of, 15 garden hoses connected in tandem. There's sources of water on the property.
Right.
And the water source you said before was from the Hicksville Water District, right?
Correct.
Even though
We're
it's in-
right on the border.
Okay.
We're right on the border of Hicksville and Bethpage.
Anyone else? Thank you. Anyone wish to speak on the application?
Thank you.
Oh, any closing remarks?
Just one item. I just wanted to point out that, as Mr. Zeig indicated, this application had undergone a environmental review with DER, and that was a coordinated review. As part of that review, the notice and the EAF and the environmental review went out to a number of interested and involved agencies, and as part of that, we had gotten some comments back from some of the civic associations. We did some outreach with them, and we actually have a letter that we secured from the Bethpage Chamber of Commerce in support of our application, so I wanted to submit that to the board for the record.
Okay.
And that concludes our presentation. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer them.
Anyone else? No? Anyone else wish to speak on the application?
Ms. Simoncic, I think you
Yes.
noted before, you met with the Civic Association, just for the record purposes. I know you
Yes.
met with the Hicksville Garden Civic Group.
We met with Hicksville Gardens and went over the project with them. We actually offered to come to their open meeting, and they said it was not necessary, so we never went to the full civic, but we did meet with some of the executives of that association as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
See that,
Oh,
when he's done?
okay, if there are no other comments, I will entertain a motion. You want to make the motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the plans as submitted. Tim, do you want anything in there about watering or anything?
Again, just as long as the applicant's willing to provide temporary irrigation and replace landscaping as needed, that would be the only restriction I would ask for. Condition, I should say, condition.
Subject to Mr. Zeig's recommendation.
We have no
and the
objection
plans
to that
as
condition.
submitted.
Okay. Second?
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, motion was made by Lou Warner to approve site plan with a condition of temporary irrigation and the applicant replacing landscaping as needed. It's seconded by Member Tribina. So voting on the motion, Chairman Stanko.
Aye.
Member DiLeonardo is absent. Member Tribina.
Aye.
Member Warner.
Aye.
Member Castellane.
Aye.
And Member Zeig. I vote aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 5 ayes.
Okay, motion is approved.
Motion is approved.
accepted. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
There you go, give this back to Tim. Yeah, it is.
Oh, you want to do it right now? Okay, good.
I let Tim get it, that's why I was gonna say that. Hey, Tim?
Okay.
Isn't there something in the code, site plan code that says that you have to provide irrigation? No?
That's what I asked. I'm going to date it. I'll date it. Yeah. 2/8.
Hi, Dan.
How are you, Mr. Warner?
Kim, that's
How are
it?
you?
Check me.
Got your new member with you?
At least 2 people in this room are happy.
I'm sorry?
2 people in this room are happy.
Okay. Second item on the agenda, 65 South Service Road, Plainview, New York, 11803. The applicant is seeking a site plan approval from the Planning Advisory Board. In accordance with the town's site design standards, this site plan application involves the construction of a 14,885 square foot addition, which will contain a new service department and a second-story parking area with associated site improvements. The proposed use for the subject property is a permitted use pursuant to Chapter 246, Table 5.2 of the Code of the Town of Oyster Bay. Do we have any correspondence on this application?
You do, Chairman. Correspondence is as follows. First, memo from the Zoning Division dated December 20th, 2022, stating the subject property located at 65 South Service Road, Plainview, New York, 11803, has a Nassau County Land and Tax Map designation of Section 13, Block 88, Lot 41, and is located within the LI Light Industry Zoning District. Number two, memo from the Department of Environmental Resources dated January 25th, 2024, classifying this project as a negative declaration for the purposes of CEQA. Number three, memo from the Code Enforcement Bureau dated December 29th, 2022, stating that there are no open code cases on the subject property. Since this memo is several months old, the Planning Division contacted the Code Enforcement Bureau this past week, and there are still currently no open code violations on the subject property. Fourth, memo from the town's Department of Public Works Highway Division dated December 22nd, 2022, and its Engineering Division dated December 15th, 2023, stating that they have reviewed the site plans and have no objections. Five, memo from the Nassau County Department of Public Works dated November 3rd, 2023, stating that pursuant to General Municipal Law 239F, the plans have been approved as noted. Six, resolution number 10556-24, adopted on January 11th, 2024, from the Nassau County Planning Commission recommending local determination for this project, is a memo from the Planning Division dated January 25th, 2024, stating the required parking for the subject property is 136 parking spaces, and 82 parking spaces have been provided. Memo from the Planning Division dated January 26, 2024, stating that the division has conducted a review in accordance with Chapter 246, Section 6 Site Plan Review of the Code of the Town of Oyster Bay, and is referring the site plan to the Planning Advisory Board for appropriate action. Finally, affidavits of sign posting and affidavits of mailings from the applicants are on file. Chairman, that is all the correspondence.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Good evening. Daniel Baker of Greenberg Traurig, law firm at 900 Stewart Avenue, Garden City, New York, 11530. I'm here tonight on behalf of the owner of the property, which is technically MAG RE Holdings Plainview LLC, which is an affiliate of the McGovern Auto Group, which owns and operates this property along with some others, including two down at 105 South Service Road. Tonight's application seeks site plan approval to construct a 14,885 square foot addition to the existing Ferrari Maserati of Long Island automobile dealership located at 65 South Service Road in Plainview. Nassau County Land and Tax Map designation is Section 13, Block 88, and Lot 41, and this property is wholly located within the LI zoning district. Again, just for some background information, as I mentioned, the owner of the property, or the automobile group, has two properties, this one at 65 and another at 105 South Service Road. The way it's set up right now, the property, which is the subject of this application, is a Maserati and Ferrari dealership, whereas the other property is the service facility for this dealership. The intention behind the addition that is the subject of this application is to basically split the two brands, making this at 65 a Ferrari sales and service facility, and then ultimately 105 will become a Maserati sales and service facility. That, again, 105 is not the subject of this application. We'll see you at some time in the future, but that will be an incredible improvement to that property, which isn't quite where this one is right now. I imagine maybe you've seen it as you drive on the expressway or the service road. It shows up, for sure. So the property is located on the south side of the Long Island Expressway Service Road, approximately 400 feet west of Newtown Road. The premises features a lot area of 1 acre and is improved with an existing two-story building of 21,982 square feet with on-site parking provided on the north or front side and south and rear sides of the premises. In addition, the applicant leases space next door at 45 South Service Road for use of parking and storage of cars. That's not going to really be a part of this application, but they do have it, and it is excess that is available to them there. The property is surrounded by commercial and industrial uses, with the nearest residentially zoned property being more than 600 feet, but north of the property, way on the other side of the expressway and service road, so not coming into any contact here. Behind and abutting the property are all commercial and industrial uses. At 45 South Service Road, you have a mixed industrial building. To the south, you have more industrial buildings. To the east, you have at 85 South Service Road, the Reckler Equity Office Building. I will note that one of the principals there is in attendance tonight, and I'll speak more to that later, but we have had discussions with both the property owners at 85 and 45 South Service Road, and I think I speak for them, but if they need to, certainly can let you know that they are supportive of this application. Again, I'll get into the Reckler discussions a little more as we proceed. Turning to the application, the applicant is seeking approval to construct a 14,885 square foot one-story addition that will be located on the west and to the south of the existing building. The southern portion of the building will be flush with the existing building, maintaining the approximately 11-foot side yard setback along the eastern property line. The addition will be home to a new service department and second-story parking area. So in essence, as I explained earlier, this is going to allow for Ferrari to be completely within this site with the existing sales area being renovated and the back portion, the new addition, becoming the service area and more parking on top, because right now you have parking behind the existing building. You'll now have some parking on top of the roof. While not much site work other than the buildings, there will be elimination of the existing stone paver semicircle driveway that you see along South Service Road, so that will just be all grass and pavers, or grass area, which it's mostly now, but it'll be a completely grass area. The existing refuse enclosure in the rear of the premises along the eastern property line will be moved to the northwest corner of the property near the loading area and will be fully enclosed and screened. And again, as I mentioned, the front of the property will continue to be landscaped as it is and covered with any of the semicircle drive that's being removed will be covered with more landscaping. Assuming that this board approves this application, we will also have to go to the Board of Appeals for certain variances. Those variances include minimum rear yard setback, which goes to the proposed staircase of the new addition. The required setback is 30 feet. The proposed would be 26.6 feet. The next variance will be for maximum allowable building coverage. The maximum is 50%. The proposed is at 59.84%. And the last variance that we will be seeking for the Board of Appeals will be for off-street parking. The required is 136 parking spaces, and that's calculated looking at different sections, which will be service, vehicle storage, waiting areas, some office space, and calculated based on the requirements of the code. And that will be 136, but the provided parking spaces will be 72. Again, I did mention earlier, there is additional parking utilized at the property next door, 60 spaces there. That's not included in this calculation, but it is available. To that point, I think it's important to note that, again, we're talking about a Ferrari dealership not a different brand that might have more mass production and appeal to people, so that there isn't a lot of traffic here. In essence, I'm not going to buy a Ferrari every week, and I don't know many people who are, but there are some, and they do get traffic, but it's not a lot. Now, a lot of their sales is done online and through other communication rather than people coming in. Service is the same thing. Most of the service is handled by cars being picked up and delivered. People aren't coming in, so there's not a lot of customer flow in and out of the property. Now, I'd like to refer back to what I had mentioned earlier, and just before I do that, please note that we have our project architect, David Gonzalez, here. He can answer technical questions. We also have Bill Rydell, who is the general manager of the dealership, who can answer operational questions, or either can answer what is necessary that I can't. Again, I mentioned that there have been some discussions with both of the abutting neighbors to the east and west. Mr. Reckler is here tonight. After we had met with them to show the plans to the proposed project, there were some considerations that were made based on some of their comments and concerns. There was some downsizing of the addition. It had been, the original application was a little bit bigger. It was a little bit closer in the rear to the joint property line. That was moved back. Parapets were relaxed. A lot of things that would help for better visual line of sight for them in the rear of their property. But most importantly, there were some issues, and again, I'll step back a little bit. The McGovern Group is a new owner of this property. It's only, I don't even think it's 2 years. And there were some operational issues in the past that came up through discussions through the new owner and the neighboring properties. And excuse me. Some of those included the unloading, I apologize, the unloading of vehicles on the service road. I'm going to step back for 1 second. I'm good. So, in response to this and some of the other concerns, we did enter into a letter, oh my goodness,
Take a
my
minute.
apologies.
Take a
If
minute.
there's water anywhere.
Take a minute.
I'm back in.
Wait a minute. We might have an answer for you.
You know, I'm on the last day of not feeling great. I'm feeling good. And this is the first
And we
time
didn't help.
No, no, it's okay. But I should have brought some water. So, in any event, there was a letter agreement that was entered into by the two parties that addresses the conditions of concern to the Recklers. I'm going to hand that in and ask that this be made a part of the record, as well as noted as conditions to your approval, and also noted that this provides for the recording of a declaration of covenants and restrictions that will list the additions, so it will be recorded with the county clerk. Not one imposed by this board or the town, but between the parties, so that they will stand and be adhered to. I'm happy to go through them if you'd want, but again, and I think most importantly, these are safety concerns that both parties agree are a good thing, including prohibiting the unloading of vehicles, particularly tractor-trailers, on the service road, whether it be in front of either of the properties, but anywhere on the service road. So that will now happen at 45 South Service Road. Again, the applicant leases some space there, and the owner of that property has nicely, I'd say, agreed to the unloading of vehicles. And not that they happen so often. Again, going back to this being a Ferrari dealership, it's really not too often that the deliveries are coming, but this will be a safer way of that happening.
Mr. Baker, just to
Yes.
backtrack, the correspondence you handed in, you said will be recorded with a deed in the county? You also will have
Yes,
this,
if you see, there is a form of declaration of restrictive covenants attached to annexed. Thank you very much. That is annexed, and really all that needs to be completed with that is the approval date, assuming we get them.
but I'm sorry, I misheard you or didn't hear you properly. This will be made part of, if this board approves the site plan, to reference this letter as a condition.
Yes, please, that would be fine.
So we'll put this right in our motion.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of the other conditions, which will also be covenants, are restricting employee parking, so that there will be no parking on the Reckler property, there will be no driving through by Ferrari or Maserati employees on that property, and the other ones that you see here. So with that, I think that's all.
Just to backtrack, that
Sure.
lot that you're talking about, is that what is tax lot 31, where it says up on the top, existing lot access agreement with tax lot 31? Or that's the other property that's on,
That's 45.
that's 45?
Yeah, so if you're looking at the property here, and you know what, this is great. I haven't used this in a while. Uh-oh.
And it shows.
There you go. No, I got it. I put new batteries in because I hadn't used it in a while. So here's South Service Road, and you've got Newtown Lane. This is 45, and on this side is 85. So the space that is leased is over here. There is actually a connection right here. So they can come and go through this connection here without having to go back on the service road or going around.
When you say they can, what's the purpose of that access that's up there?
Right now, Ferrari Maserati has access to...
To that adjoining
35 South
property.
Service Road,
Okay.
correct. Okay, and again, this is 85 on this side where the Reckler building is, so just so you know, this is all flush right here. Originally, the addition was going to be a little closer to the property line. It's been pushed back to be flush here, and then there were some other accommodations made to decrease the parapet and other things that would be beneficial to the neighboring property.
And since we're just talking about properties, for the benefit of the board, the county-owned property,
Oh, I've been corrected. That connection has been closed up, so they don't use that access.
okay, so that's,
But they
okay.
they do utilize the property. They lease it and can park there, but they can't go back and forth.
Got
That's
it.
my understanding.
The county-owned property in the front along the service road?
Right here?
Yeah, so all the decorative stones and all that's going to be removed and just restored back to, other than just an access going on and off the service
Yeah,
road?
the access is right here, and the pavers that are there will be removed.
I didn't mean to interrupt your flow, I'm sorry.
You didn't.
In looking at the architectural, the only way to access the second floor parking is through a lift?
That's correct.
There's no ramp or?
No.
It's assumed that only employees are going to operate the cars to get on the lift to go up to the second floor, correct?
Correct.
Is that roof parking or second floor parking?
It's roof.
It's roof parking.
Roof, yeah, it's not covered. And what will that parking be used for? Will it be customers or will it be
No.
work people?
I think up top is going to be inventory. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
It'll be inventory up on the roof.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The rendering shows, looks like, are those solar panels up there for that roof?
I think you might be looking at not the latest plans,
Okay.
but
It's-
the
it's-
solar panels up top have been removed.
It's an exterior rendering, A303.
Again, we had submitted revised plans, and it might be that you're looking at the not-so-latest, greatest. And again, this was based upon the discussions and agreements with the neighbors. One of the requests was, and was agreed to, was to remove the solar panels, so there are no solar panels proposed.
The last revision on this is 12524.
Sorry?
The last revision date on this one that I'm looking at? Oh, well, no, I'm looking at the architectural, forget about it.
What's the last revision date?
And, how many employees do they have here? Salespeople, office workers,
Mechanics.
mechanics?
Good evening, I'm Bill Rydell, General Manager. Sales and service combined approximately would be 40 employees.
How many?
40.
40?
Correct.
Where do they park?
Typically, they would park, we have spaces next door at 45. or
Can you,
on our
can you come
property.
up to the microphone,
Sure.
please?
Oh, sure. Good evening, once again, my name is Bill Rydell, I'm General Manager. Our employees currently park on our property. We have some adjacent parking at that 45 location next to us, where we lease space. And the other parking we have is at 105. The 105 building, which is the Maserati service, has some spots for those clients, or employees to park as well.
So when somebody comes to work for you, they have to park off the site and walk to...
Yes, sir. Yes, they'll park on adjacent properties, or 105, which we own, and 45, which we lease, and our property.
There's no parking on the service road, are
No, no,
there?
no,
That's
no,
clear.
definitely not,
Good.
definitely
I'm
not.
just wondering, because you're applying for a variance to reduce, I forget the numbers, but they were 100 and some to 70 some, if I'm being correct.
Right. Once again, sorry.
Is the town giving you credit for all of the deck parking, the second floor parking, and for the work bays and everything like that? How do you come up with 70 some parking spaces? I just don't understand that.
I'm sorry.
So, again, there's not a high level of inventory, so there's some availability on site, right? And now they will be parking on the second floor, or the roof level.
I mean,
But there are 60 spaces next door at 45 South Service Road.
but that's not on this.
I think the question that Mr. Warner's asking about is, don't you need those spots for 45? They're not in excess that they're released from there, correct? In other words, if 45 needs 100 spaces to
Right, no,
exist.
I understand the question, and we did submit, there's a traffic study that was prepared by Wayne Muller from R&M, and he went through all of this to show that the need will be met by,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you're gonna have 40 employees, I mean, on a snowy day, somebody's gonna have to walk from a different lot to get to
No,
their
well-
job?
If I may, the 40 employees would include the other employees that would be over at the 105 building. So we have 40 employees total between the 65 building and the 105 building. So there'll be approximately 15 to 20 of those employees that will maintain their employment at the 105 building. So if I could clear that up a little bit. But that's the total employment, I look at my roster. But you have the 105 building, that is Maserati, and ours. So some of those employees will maintain their parking and employment work time down to the other building.
So somebody would have to walk from Maserati across the tenant in between to Ferrari.
Now, most of the employees that'll work at the Maserati building will park at the Maserati building, because it opens up the parking at the 40, 45, or our showroom for the 65 building. So we'll be splitting it up.
People who work at 65 or Ferrari will park
Right.
at 45. People
Right.
who work at Maserati will park at Maserati.
Correct.
Because, I mean, you know, you've only got maybe 5 spaces in the front, you've got 2 in the back, which 2 in the back is completely useless.
Yeah, that's not used for, that's only going in and out of that
You
service.
know, I mean,
Like I said, the 40 is
I mean,
I understand that.
I don't know, I wish the zoning board of appeals luck with this one. You know, I know we don't have anything to do with zoning, but I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me to have this whole lot covered in building. I mean, what happens if, for some reason or other, Ferrari goes out of business? Somebody takes this over. The only thing it's gonna be good for is cars. I mean, you know, just thinking down the road.
Yes, but they're hoping down the road they won't have a problem like that. I mean, we don't know, but that can happen with any property, I imagine.
All right, just,
Well, what are you doing now with parking? How does it work now?
Is that how it works now?
Yeah, we have the same way. We have the technicians who are at the Maserati building are parked there on that property. people, employees who are at the Ferrari dealership are parked on some on our property and some on the adjacent 45 property.
So you're planning to just continue that with the new system?
Yes, yes. Once again, it'll be standalone buildings.
There's not additional parking right now where there's no building on the site?
In the,
So where the additions are going, there's no parking there now?
It
there
is,
is
That's
parking,
here.
yes.
So the building's going to take over parking though?
yeah.
No, the back of that has been, the back of that, our current showroom has some inventory, which is, a lot of it's being moved indoors to 45. And I'm trying to think what else is back there. There's inventory and some other cars that we trade, that's it. There's nothing,
So meaning it's not employee parking back there?
no.
Are those three parcels that you're talking about, Maserati, the next one, and then Ferrari, are they all in the same ownership? Or are they different owners?
No, the middle,
45.
The middle,
The one in
I'm
between.
talking specifically the middle piece, maybe.
Yeah,
the middle
45.
piece is entirely owned by somebody else. That's an office building. The property in between what is now the dealership and the service facility is
And
a
he-
privately owned property by
And he
someone.
has no problem with your employees parking on his lot?
They're not parking on his lot.
No, I think the question going back, 45 and 65 are abutting each other, correct?
Correct.
They're,
Okay, so
all-
that
it-
explains it.
that's owned by the same property owner?
Yeah, that,
45 and 65?
Yes.
45 is owned by
This
Mr.
gentleman right
Wackler
here.
right here.
Can I just, my name's Philip Wackler.
Come on up,
We
yeah.
own 45 South Service Road. Just for clarification, Ferrari right now rents space from us for warehouse of cars. They also, they're entitled to 60 parking spaces based on a 4-to-1 ratio. So their employees park in our lot it's okay.
Will that continue?
Yes,
once
it's
the-
a 10
once
it's a
the new
10-year
building- Once the new facility is up and running?
It has nothing to do with it. They have 60 spots. Whether they choose to put employees there or cars there, new cars, it doesn't make a difference.
The 60,
I think to your question, though, it's going to continue in the same way.
It's a 10-year lease.
but the 60 spots, are they in excess of what you were required to have by code?
It's what they're allowed to have by code.
No.
No,
So
your-
your building?
your
if-
building.
if- Just talking hypothetically, if your building needs 100 spaces to exist legally, you need all 100 spaces to exist. If you have 160 spaces, then you have 60 spaces you can play with and lease out. Are they dipping into your off-street required parking?
No, because they have 15,000 feet in our building, which so they're entitled to 60 spots in the parking lot above and beyond what they park inside the building.
Yeah, but what they're parking for in that building is for that site, not necessarily the overflow for the 45.
But they don't,
No, but I'm saying on black and white, on paper, what you're required to have on site, you could only lease out in theory what you have more or in excess of. So if the 60 belong to your property because they're leasing spots from there,
but they're not using it. They're not using it.
but you still need those spaces to exist
You
legally.
need the
But I think
spaces.
what he's saying is they're leasing the space within the building, and these parking spaces are associated with that space. They utilize them, but they
So
are
if they
associated with.
if they have
with-
3 employees who work in our building, those are 3 cars, they're entitled to 60. So if they bring 57 from the building next door, as long as they don't bring 58, I don't care.
No, I know, but again,
I understand, I think I can answer it best, though.
Okay.
Again, I think what Mr. Walker was saying is the 60 spaces are commensurate with the 15,000 square feet they have in the building, as
Right.
it relates to the overall property.
so those 60 spaces then belong to 45.
Correct.
Right, so
Correct,
if
they
you
lease
need,
it,
if you
yes.
need them to legally exist for 45, I'm saying you can't lease or rent
Right,
space.
it's not a double dip,
Bingo.
yes.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Perfectly.
Okay. Remember that when you go to the zoning board. Thank you. Any other comments?
No other comments from
Any
us?
comments?
Yes.
I just have a question, might not pertain to this, but what is a paper silent salesman? I see you have that, it's a.
Paper silent
Sale.
salesman.
Good question.
That's the general
All
manager.
right, David gets,
I had to ask it.
Now you're in my wheelhouse, just look at
You've got a lot of them.
paper. A lot of our business, because of the product we have and the brand, is digital. we sell cars all around the country. If we sell 50 cars a month, probably 25 or 30 are going out, more than that, going out of the state, because they're one-off cars. It's a very boutique-y type of environment, both sales and service. So paper silent is part of the digital program, meaning that it's people, it's digital, and then you'll see paper side is, what you're looking at probably is the stanchions in the showroom. The stanchions in the showroom basically are a podium that has the information of the car. It's just an information center. That's how Ferrari claims that to be. But once again, it's very boutique-y, and it's a great product.
So when they come to you, there's no cars X, Y, and Z for them to buy? In other words, you're the,
No, I'll take you through the whole process. If you want a brand-new Ferrari, it's going to take you 3 years to get one. We have an allocation of 77 cars a year. That's what most dealers deliver in 2 weeks. Once again, we're not a standard domestic or import dealer where you have high level of traffic walking through the door. We get 1,000 phone calls, it's e-leads, e-commerce is our lifeline. Everything is e-commerce. Once again, that's part of the traffic, so, but it's a very interesting brand.
Thank you.
okay. Thank you, Dan.
The transformer that you have out on the site, does that have vehicle impact bars protecting it? It's not noted on the plan, but safe to assume it's there?
David?
Yes, it should be there, the bollards.
So the bollards would be installed there?
It's shown here right now, but it should be there.
You can speak to him directly.
Yeah. Come on up and.
Yeah, come on
Yeah,
up.
I was gonna say, Chairman,
State your
would you mind
name.
if he comes up?
Yeah, no, state your name.
Came all this way.
Address, yeah.
Say something.
Good evening, Chairman, board members. My name is David Gonzalez, architect, 76 Architecture, PLLC, 67 Rolling Street, Lynbrook, New York, 11563. So, yes, so there should be bollards in there, so that would be, I don't think it's shown on the civil yet, but there should be protections in there too, bollards.
Tim, does he have a more recent plan, or?
No, I, unless I'm missing it. I'm looking at, I have the alignment plan up, utility plan.
This is
The one that's lined up. I'm not sure. Minus 125, the bollards.
It's noted it's gonna be on there though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be on.
Do you have elevations? I know we have the renderings here, but do you have elevations with you?
Actually, I have the new elevation.
Okay.
That was changed, that we took off the parapet, and in replacement, we put the steel cable railings. So it brings in more, air circulation, light, for the purpose of
But-
having just a wall.
Those steel cable railings you have on the top, you're gonna be parking cars up there. Are those gonna be code compliant for the
Yes.
employees for fall protection, so to speak?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
It'll have the proper spacing, heights, and all that, as if there would be guards.
Yep, and then the resistance for safety, yes.
Dumb question, but I'm gonna ask it. Do those rails protect cars from driving over the edge?
So that would also be, those posts and railings, that would have enough tension and will be calculated based on the load of
And God forbid someone hits the
accelerator.
accelerator instead of the brake, it will protect a car from flying off the roof.
Yes. Yeah, so it won't be like a standard steel cable railing like for like residential or anything.
It'll be high tension.
It'll be a more of like those parking garages that they use on those parking garages.
Did you say steel cable railing on your site plan, on your elevation?
On the new ones, yes.
Just for record purposes, what's the last revision date that you have?
This is 125/24.
125/24.
And the North Coast Civil last revision date was 1/24/2000.
This is the one that I was referencing before, and that's 125/24.
No, see?
Oh, Oh, what do you got?
125,
Oh,
24.
yeah.
How come you guys don't have it?
They might have another one.
Oh, you do have it, okay.
125,
125,
24
okay.
also.
Probably have it.
The colors represented on those elevations too is the color scheme that's going to be used for the building itself?
Yes. So basically, the new finish will match the existing.
The existing. And again, that stone driveway in your top left is coming out though ultimately,
Yes,
right?
Yes, this is all coming.
That's all that county right of way?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any indication of using a generator on this property?
No.
Just don't want to go through site plan and not have it indicated on there, so there'll be no generator? Same question I asked from the last applicant. I know you're going to have some landscaping. Is this going to have an irrigation system to maintain the landscaping here?
Yes.
Okay. When do you anticipate your deliveries for the cars? I know that you'll have the agreement, but when would you anticipate deliveries? I know they're not often, but,
Throughout the day, typically, a trail will come in early in the morning. They like to run at night.
and how many cars typically get delivered at a facility like this?
Oh, my goodness. In what time frame? In a week?
In a week, yeah.
5.
5?
We'd like it to be more, but that's what it is.
How are you going to get the cars to the site if they're not getting dropped off at the service road or on site?
The cars, the vehicles will be at 45. They'll access the 45 property in the back. There's plenty of room back there for trailers. They've always been unloading back there. They dropped off at 45 where we store most of our cars. So that's where our storage area is for our cars. And how do we get them over to the others, down to 105? Put a license plate on them, drive them back down around
Okay,
Service
so you
Road,
drop
down around, yes. Yep. But they're dropped off in a convenient location where we store them, so it makes it easy.
Going back to parking, again, it's the employees of the facility that are going to be accessing that car lift to bring them up to the second floor.
Yes. No,
No-
nobody in the public.
John Q. Public can come in and drive on that lift.
No.
Was there ever a time that this did have I don't recall offhand, was there ever a time that it did have a ramp to go up to the second floor, or was it always a lift?
Always a lift.
Always a lift?
As far as I know.
So you're also storing cars at 45?
We store cars indoors at 45. It's
Indoors.
15,000
Okay.
square feet, and there is some storage outside along the building.
Obviously, the loading zone that you're showing on your site plan is not going to be delivering cars, but that's probably going to be for what, like car parts and things like that? The loading zone?
Yes,
They showed over by the proposed
correct.
first floor addition?
correct.
I think you asked for that.
I think I might have, it's tough to remember all this
I
stuff.
think you did. It was a while ago, but yes.
Going back to that front area with the county, God forbid you have a snow event, where does the snow plan on getting pushed to? Is that allowed to go to the front, or is that all going to be stored on property?
We would, I don't have much experience in the last couple of years, which is good, but it would,
That's good for the town, too.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
there is an area that is shown, if you look just off of the parking area. On C2?
Oh, on the alignment plan, yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tack on to Mr. Warner's concept of, there's so few parking spaces, just want to make sure that it's not going to impede
No.
traffic circulation on the site.
No.
You beat a dead horse. You said that, you would truck the snow away in the event of a heavy snowstorm. Well, how, I mean, it's not set up to get a dump truck or anything like that up to the second floor, which is exposed, so there's gonna be snow up there. Where are you gonna get rid of that? You gonna put it in pickup trucks and drive it away? You understand my question?
I understand your question.
Because, I mean, the only way down is through the...
Just through the elevator.
lift. Or you're just gonna dump it over the back of the building?
No, there are other areas there that are not parking spots that could be utilized for that.
Yeah, but my question is though, how are you gonna get the snow from the second floor where the cars are stored or parked or whatever, down? Because the only way down, the only way for the car to get up to be in that area is through a lift. And I'm sure that lift isn't gonna accommodate a dump truck to, you know, to remove the snow. I mean, I guess you could just throw it over the back of the building.
Possibly, maybe, or there's enough flat stuff back here to move it, you know?
That's interesting.
You know, typically, we would probably, move it to a space perhaps that is not taken up. You know, it'd have to be a lot of snow in order to have to move it, but, you know, we would just take 2 or 3 cars here, and just put the snow into one area. That would be typically same thing you do on the ground.
All those cars, though, are all parked in tandem, though, correct?
They're parked this way, yes.
No, I mean, in tandem, meaning that you couldn't get in and just arbitrarily move them out. You'd have to back one car out, get another car out, and so forth.
Well, you could get this one out. Yeah.
How much occupancy of cars do you anticipate being up there? You plan on having that full all the time with inventory?
No. No. The showroom space, indoor space in the showroom is pretty robust. So it affords us to have a lot of indoor storage, which is great, especially with the product we have. And next door at 45, we have 15,000 square feet. That gives us a lot of storage space for cars. The cars are in there. Once again, because of the brand we keep, we try to keep them secure.
Was there any consideration ever giving about downsizing this a little bit more to accommodate the off-street parking?
I mean, I think the answer is not really, no. And a big part of that is the need for, and maybe David can speak to this more, the need for the service area, which is the real need for the addition.
Because the biggest concern, is it's good for the here and now as a Ferrari dealership, but what happens 20, 30 years from now?
I mean, I understand that, but that can be said for so many different properties. How do we know? I mean, they're not building this to not be here.
No, agreed. No one's going to invest that much money to fail.
Right.
Agreed.
So the answer there is whoever would be 30 years from now looking to buy this property would either have a similar type of use or would
Have to alter
would
it
change
dramatically.
How many cars do you plan on having up on the roof?
Well, how many can it accommodate, or what do they think will be?
Well, realistically, yeah, what do you plan to put up there?
I mean, if you go back to, yeah. The roof, yeah. So the accommodates this amount, but you think it's only 530. 25 to 30 rather than the 41 that it can accommodate.
Once again, very,
So 25 to 30 on the roof.
yeah,
That, on a regular basis?
Right. Just to give you an idea too of volume, we typically service 8 to 10 cars a day. A local Mercedes-Benz dealer, which I'm very familiar with, services 100 a day. Just to give you an idea of the traffic. Service 8 a day that we pick up. Those clients aren't even dropping their cars off, we're picking them up. Just to address, and perhaps you can speak to this better than I can, to address the snow issue, perhaps it's something like you mentioned, a heating element could be installed to help us out with that. If there's something we could put up, heating and, just like they do, I believe, at firehouses in their driveways or something like that, that's something we could discuss.
I mean, you'd have to make accommodations for the runoff from there,
Drainage, yeah.
the drainage too, so.
Just an idea. I'm the car guy in the room and just thinking of ideas, so.
That would have to be added into the plans if they,
Yeah, there would be a reference made to it. Again, we're limited just looking at site plan aspects of it, but I think Mr. Warner has it's gonna be a tough sell for the ZBA, but listen, you're entitled to try it, so.
Tim, anything?
I don't think I need to ask anymore.
Okay, any finishing comments, any?
No, nothing further from us. Thank you.
Did you wanna check if anyone's out?
Yeah. Anyone wish to speak on this application? No? Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Zeig will entertain a motion.
Did you have the letter?
I have it.
Oh,
Mr. Baker, maybe just real quick, do you want to just touch some of the highlights of what would be part of that agreement that you have with the correspondence you handed in?
Yeah. so-
Just to touch upon that, if you don't
Sure,
mind.
so you can see, right there on the first page are the conditions that were agreed to. First one being that Ferrari Maserati of Long Island deliveries will occur at 45 South Service Road, Plainview, and will not occur on the South Service Road, which had previously happened, will no longer happen. The next is employee parking will occur on the premises or on the leased portion of 45 South Service Road, Plainview, meaning nobody from the applicant will be parking at 85 South Service Road. The next is to avoid customers parking at 85 South Service Road. Additional directional signage will be installed at the applicant's cost and expense at the entrance to the premises to 65 South Service Road. And the next one is the design and layout of the premises will be consistent with the site plans that were submitted and before you tonight. And the last is acknowledging that these conditions will be recorded as covenants and restrictions with the county clerk upon approval by this board and the zoning board of appeals.
okay.
Yeah, so,
Entertain a motion?
yeah, if someone want to make a motion?
Make a motion on the application?
I'll make a motion that we accept the site plan as submitted by the applicant, subject to, and Tim, you have that information.
Yeah, so it would be subject to a letter from Greenberg Traurig dated February 7th, 2024, signed by Daniel Baker as attorney, with referencing of 6 items that are to be adhered to as part of the site plan application. Additionally, to be recorded with the county clerk as a restrictive covenant as part of the deed in Nassau County. So a motion has been made by Member Warner,
Second?
seconded by Member Castellane. So now, voting on the motion, Chairman Stanko.
Aye.
Noting that Member DiLeonardo is absent, Member Chabina,
Aye.
Member Warner.
Aye.
Member Castellane.
Aye.
And Member Zeig, I vote aye. Chairman, that's 5 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay, motion is accepted. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, appreciate your time, and thank you for the water.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you,
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you
All
very much.
all those in favor of adjourning tonight's meeting?
All in favor? Aye.
All opposed? Let it ride.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, thank you. What's his name? What's his name? How do I know? How do I know him? Oh, maybe that's why. Good discussion. We gotta pick up. Don't forget to pick up.